the Macbeth cast. I'm Kimberly Borg. I'm going to be moderating our lovely little Q&A panel tonight. We don't have the entire cast. I don't think we could have fit 26 of them up here on the stage. But we do have a fine selection of leads supporting tech tonight. And we're going to go ahead and have some questions here that we're going to go through. And we also have a couple audience members tonight, which is awesome. Love to see that. And so I'm going to start off right at the top with auditions. I want to know what drew, and these are all open. Anybody can answer this. Like most of these are kind of general open, so if you want to pipe on up, they're all mic'd up, by the way, with our lovely new mic system that we're using this year. What drew you to auditions, and did you have any prior experience with any Shakespearean plays?
No. No, I have not. I wanted to do auditions because, well, I like the theater to begin with, and it just makes me feel at home.
Basically, Shakespeare's been about the other side for a while, so I wouldn't do one. Never had a chance. Read a bunch. I've seen a lot of plays, but I never done one. So excited for that.
You just read it in high school, like this is going to be a thing I do as an adult.
That's all. Yeah.
Nice. Anyone else?
My mom called me and said, "Hey, Ashley wants you to be in the play. Go talk to her." And now I'm here.
Parental pressure, we love it.
I think Eric has a good response to this too.
So I knew we were literally going to need a small army. And I showed up and I said, "Hi, I've never been in anything before, despite being probably triple the age of your average first-time participant. Why this play? Because it's Shakespeare! Shakespeare! Thank God doesn't stop you from coming to the play. We actually make it pretty good. There's sword fights. And there's
Fight choreography, ancient language, sentences that you gotta read real slow for people to get now. Did anyone have any stage fright at auditions, and how do you feel about being on stage now?
7.
So you already had one that said that getting up on stage was a little scary at first, but now feeling pretty comfortable in the roles.
Well, I'm gonna get the ball rolling then. So, yes, my first audition here was, I was so unconfident in myself that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this again and prove that I can do it. And well, I did it. And I mean, so it's very it was very nerve-wracking at auditions because, well, I couldn't say all the days, thous, whatever. But now just being here, being into my character and all that kind of stuff is just very good. It's made me feel confident in how I perceive my character.
This is a great thing to know because sometimes even public speaking, a theater role can be someone's first foray into that field. So, absolutely, I certainly recommend it to anybody who feels like they need a little confidence booster, a little performance booster. Is try out community theater. It's a lot of fun. You've got a lot of people supporting you. It's not just you solo up on stage. So, yeah, awesome. All right,
We're
so
a bunch of weirdos.
quite the colorful cast. As far as doing Shakespeare, what was either rewarding, eye-opening, or challenging about any of your particular roles?
Well, I don't know if you're aware, but Macbeth has a lot of lines, and I haven't had to memorize things for quite a while, so the amount of memorization is just took a lot of time. I'm pretty sure everyone the week before was going, so what's the backup plan if Kevin doesn't have it? We're gonna have teleprompter cards up in the balcony, or what are we gonna do? But
No, I'm just saying.
that took time for everyone. It didn't matter who you were. It's hard not only to do the amount of lines, but it also doesn't the order of the words is not as difficult. That being said, Director Michael and I were talking about this earlier today about how maybe those that are used to participating more music ensembles and such might find it a little bit easier to memorize because there is a rhythm to the words. The more you work on it, the more you realize that can't be the word because the ones that came in last, but now it's probably my more comfortable ones. And so a lot of times some of those scenes would seem a little bit more intimidating to get to because I found that when I have to have a lot more back and forth, sometimes that's harder to memorize because you have to know which thing you're saying in the right order. And the witches have saved me more than once when I get those things out of order. I kind of joke I don't want to kill some people in this show, but sometimes I kill some people's lines and I have to apologize that I think you were the victim tonight. Congratulations. But yeah, some things I was more surprised to by the time I got to that scene, how quickly it did come. I knew more of it than I thought I did. I talked to Pierre a little bit about this. I found that in our closet we have mirrors on either side that are full length, and it's hardwood floors. And it was much easier to memorize when I was in there, and I could see my face, I could hear my voice coming back to myself, and I could play with it. And I had someone, myself, to look in the eye. Because once you start kind of adding those layers and all that stimuli, it's much easier than if you're sitting in your couch and just memorizing it there. Because that's almost too sanitary of a condition. And it's far too easy to be up here on stage and look up and be like, well, that's Scott Jones. He's a head above everyone else. Hi, Scott. And then also you think then, go, oh, wait, what's my line? You recognize, oh, there's my dad. He's over there. Or there's this person. You need almost to practice with something else so that you don't get knocked off your game when you have those intrusive thoughts come in when you have an audience.
So you go first. I got a quick question. How was it practicing the crazy face loon scene? Were you grabbing the mirror and shaking it, or was the mirror shaking you?
Actually, I just superimposed my brother's face on my brother that's 5 years younger, and actually, I can't take credit for that joke. My dad said last night, so you're just imagining Jake when you do that, right? Maybe. Now that you say it, I should try that.
We don't watch shows.
No.
So, to get back to our original, what I found was the challenge for me was creating a character because with the witches, it felt more like, okay, I'm trying to create the idea of evil, not create an actual flesh and blood, fleshed out character. So that was a very different experience. I couldn't get at it the ways that I usually would. Anybody who's worked with me a lot knows that I have a very elaborate backstory in my head for just about everything, even if I only say 2 words.
As far as the characters go, the character motivations are important, and trying to get in your character's mindset in this era is like, so my character has this whole tortured story about being king or not being king, and that's just not something that's easy to relate to, and trying to find a way to do that so the audience engages with the idea,
And that's actually a great lead into another question I had. How did you approach performing a character that was written 400 years ago?
They gave me a very nice kind of stab.
Dang, wow. But, sorry, I was speaking a lot, but, well, I kind of put my own twist on it, kind of, like, not really, but kind of, like, I grew up, like, I wrote a whole backstory on this character, just for fun, really, and help draw my, like, attention and, like, just my motive, really, and, like, why I have one glove, or why I have a scar on my face, or etc. So I just kind of put those things together, and it just kind of came together.
And another thing that helped in that regard is when I was directing style, he decided with this particular show that we're not setting it in any particular time frame. We almost treat it as though it's timeless. So we can act as though we're more modern, and a lot of the clothing we're wearing is a little bit more modern, our boots and some of our other regalia. But so that allows us a little more flexibility in how we can relate to the character, make it feel more modern.
How did you get like in your head? How did you get into portraying a character written 400 years ago into then your modern take on it? What did you end up thinking about having to change mannerisms, patterns of speech, or anything like that?
What are the steps you took to
Yeah.
embody that role? Well, I think the biggest thing I did that helped me embody the role of the guess if you were going to research the news or something, you would basically look at a bunch of different sources, and then you would take your takes on all of those sources, and then you would make your own conglomerated opinion from all of them. So like, when I was getting ready to do the Porter role, I watched like 8 or 9 different actors do that Porter role, and I studied all 8 or 9 actors do that Porter role their own way. And then I took pieces I liked from every single one, and then I conglomerated it into my role.
That's amazing. You kind of made your own like casserole soup version. Like you're kind of like amalgamation of all that stuff.
Took ingredients from all the recipes, yeah.
Or you just got wasted a couple times. Just to practice.
Well, speaking of characters, I know I probably should have done this at the start. Would you all like to go ahead and say your names and which character you play? We'll start that far back, and we'll work this way and go down the front row again.
I'm Liam Kelly, and I play Murderer Numero Uno.
I'm Mitch Honan, and I play Malcolm.
Play Donald
Captain Townley, Porter.
Eric Brownline. Angus.
I'm Taylor Land, I'm the gentlewoman.
I'm Blake Tostinson, and I'm Murderer 2.
Dale Bartels, I played King Duncan.
Elizabeth D. Campbell, I'm one of the witches.
Kevin Humph, Macbeth.
Scott Lee, Macbeth with Theta Fife.
Nice. So we've got a nice mix of leads supporting, and we've also got some of our tech folk here that have some questions.
I do that too.
What's that?
I do that too. Okay.
Yes, we have people where it's also like double duty, like you've been actors on stage, but also you've been like helping out with sound and lighting. And sometimes that happens with any kind of community play where you end up doing double or triple duty because you just got a skill set and we need you at the time. And so it's really great that people can like hop in those roles too.
Your parents never taught you how to say no.
It's just like, I didn't help you with that. And you just kind of go off and do it. Awesome. Have any of you connected with any of your characters on a deeper or more thoughtful level now than before? Have you been able to like get into their heads, know them a little bit better than you may have been when you started? Yes.
So we've spent a ton of time with my characters. I came in with a very kind of cynical politician-style view of the character, and since then I've decided that, by making the character more empathetic and trying to connect with other people on the stage, and also just thinking of a more noble vision of leadership, which took a little practice, but in the world of fiction, I've been okay.
Like I said, I just wrote up something. That's just something I do. And I drew stuff, and I just kind of came up with the whole backstory.
When you're playing a minor role, such as someone named as Murderer 1 and Murderer 2, you can take two different very, Blake's a perfect example of taking an approach of getting everything that nobody else would ever know about the character and making it everything to you. It is your character now, where I'm a little bit more like, I know exactly what I'm doing, what the director wants me to do, and I get to stab my friend Isaac. So.
It's very cathartic at the end of the day.
Every time.
Yeah, but see, Jack can never get a kid.
What I kind of did to understand the Porter on a little bit of a closer level was Shakespeare is brilliant. So the only scene in this entire play is the Porter scene that has a comedic relief kind of sketch to it. But the thing is it has a deeper level than just comedy, because it also has a dark undertone with it relating to things about like hell and everything. So the Porter is the gatekeeper, it's just a fancy word for it. And one of the first lines he says as he's waking up and getting ready to go open this door right in the morning is he says, if a man were a porter of hell gate, he should have whole turning key. Meaning, like, if there was a man, gatekeeping hell, he would have an extremely long and busy day, every day, all night.
So many visitors coming through those doors.
Yeah.
And your character sort of acts as like fourth wall breaking connection with the audience in a sense too, would you say?
Yeah, it's really interesting. And that's probably the biggest thing to look at is like also genuinely understand what Shakespeare wrote down for those characters to think of and talk about. So
Anybody else? director, assistant director, and we also have an extra person helping out with the diction, the style of speech. How was that? Were there any like fun or funny moments or funny little trip ups or anything that you guys can tell the audience about, working with the Shakespearean style of speech?
Multitudinous.
Can you use that in a sentence, please?
Yes. Yes, I have to use it in the show, and man, I would swear up and down nights that I had said multitudinous, and I'd be told, no, you did not. And there's a lot of words to remember, a lot of words to come out, and sometimes, I think the other one was mischance.
Yeah.
We'd sit there back and forth, they'd say, no, mischance. I'd say, yes, mischance. No, you're not saying it right. I'm like, I think I said the same thing. No, you did. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. So
you have to have
sometimes,
the process on the right syllable.
yeah, and so sometimes you just had to find quirky ways of learning to say it so that you knew that everyone else was receiving it in the way that it needed to be received. So I just struggled a couple times with that, and so now I have some words that I really just love hitting on. I'm like, got that word done tonight.
What's amazing about Moses' entourage is the people in the audience might hesitate, take deep breaths, roll their eyes during the first minute or so. But then, because of actors doing it clearly and with the words that they've worked on so carefully, the actions, the facial expressions, the reactions, the audience falls, if you're trying, the audience could fall into the way Shakespeare used to talk. And by the end of the play, you're going, I understood everything. Wow.
Well, on that same note, when the Porter scene was being worked on, there were segments of that the Porter gives kind of these juxtaposed examples back and forth. And there were some where we kind of cut them out because we thought maybe they wouldn't be relevant, that we wouldn't understand. What we learned as we were listening to you go through it is that, someone would actually pick up on one of these examples way better than a different one, and then someone else might be the exact opposite. So some of those got added back in because they made that whole section more relevant.
Yeah. Well, there's a word that we've forgotten in regular English use or as a society, equivocation. And he talks a lot about the equivocator, and I think if we can be part of getting people back to know what that word means, we'll have a better society.
Just for those who don't know, can you give a definition?
Well, just for the people who don't know, you want me to support all these English teachers to find more
Equivocator, a man who swears for both scales and
Don't be quoting Shakespeare as.
Imagine a debate student who will pick either side because he loves to argue.
Hi.
Or a lawyer.
Lawyer.
I have one of those in my family.
I do have something to answer your question with though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, for many nights, I couldn't pronounce or do that one long line that I had, and I can't think of it now because my mind is blank.
The Buffets of the world.
Buffets of the world.
Yeah, Buffets. I could not, for the longest time, say Buffets. I would say Buffets, or some variation of that. And every time they'd be like, hey, you're doing it wrong. I'm trying,
And you got it.
I got it.
And I still can't say spur right.
Are there any other words that, are just now going to be stuck in your heads after this play?
More so an honorable mention would be Beelzebub with Miss Vogt. That's just nitpicking, and I appreciate that.
If Isaac was here, he would say leisure.
Yeah.
Leisure. We're going to go on to the workings of the play itself. We kind of touched a little bit on it. Is there any specific scene that you really, really enjoy doing? Like it's going to be in your head as well as the word. Like the one that you're going to latch on and anchor to in your memories from this play.
My favorite is I've only seen it a couple times when running around backstage fixing other people's mics and stuff. But I was coming out of the booth up
crashing together at the end.
I hope the audience will take time as individuals to tell us what scenes they like the best. Because like everybody on stage knows, we haven't seen the play. And we cannot sit in the audience and see the entire play because we have to be on stage. So if somebody from the fifth row says, I really like something, please tell us. Talk to us after the play is over, please.
There's a couple of murders on stage. There's one where Macbeth has a...
Spoiler alert!
Murder Macbeth?
Yeah, I know. Sorry. There's a disclaimer at the bottom. Where Isaac's character, that scene looks so cool. When he dies, because for reasons that we didn't talk about on the live stream, in case someone hasn't seen it yet, I have a really good view of that scene, and I look forward to watching it every night.
And I look forward to doing it every night. Also, as long as he doesn't step on the smoke machine again, I am very happy.
Wasn't just it, so.
I'd say probably my favorite scenes out of this whole play are the very heartfelt, sad, heartbroken scenes. First, I don't want to say for some reason, but our cast is extremely good at portraying emotions. When Scott plays Macduff and he's told by Ross that his children are his wife and family is killed. Spoiler alert, but wife and family killed, he's just hurt, he's destroyed, and there's something about that is just so you display it really well, Scott. And Lady Macbeth, when she's sleepwalking and she's trying to wash the spots out of her hands, she does that scene so well. And another one that I genuinely love is when it is the final scene, we're all there. You mentioned to C-word, aka Mr. Mick, we don't know where your son is, and Ross says, your son has paid his soldier's debt, and man, he died. And just when I'm on stage and I hear Mick say, then he is dead, it's just you can feel that buzz of denial and sadness and hate, and everything is flowing through all at once, and it's just we're just really good at portraying that sad emotion, and that's my favorite scenes. Those are really good.
To add with that, that's what I was saying, that's the reason why that's one of my favorite scenes. Well, first, we can portray emotions really well. And Gavin is good at portraying drunkenness. That's not an insult, that's a good thing.
That's hard.
It's really hard to do.
I tried to do it in the Crucible, and I did not do it that well. I just mumbled back and forth, was is this what drunk people look like? And then I watch you do it, and I'm oh,
I tried to do it in Vegas, and probably most of you didn't even know.
Any other really heartfelt, heartstring tugging scene that you're gonna keep with you?
Kevin has some just iconically written soliloquies where the tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow is. I look forward to that.
One of my personal favorites is Scott says it is I must also feel it like a man. That whole it's when he's being told his family's dead, he's I'm distraught, but I must also feel it like a man before I get angry about this. And I love that line every single time I hear it. And he does it very well.
One of my favorites is after the tomorrow, actually. It's the same scene, but it's after the tomorrow speech. Taylor comes in, there's a gentlewoman to tell me that my wife has died. And I just like her response to that, how she does not, I am obviously insane at this point. There's no state to tell this. And just how she approaches it always just feels very genuine after that. And yeah, it's just a nice little moment there at the end of the scene.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go into a couple character or groups of character specific questions. We do have one of the Weird Sisters here tonight. Do you think that the witches really do have mystical, magical forces to shape fate, or do you think they did it for good or ill purposes?
Well, I guess what I've always thought in our head is that we just know what's going to happen till the end of
developing those characters between you three? Like, I know that you can speak to your character, but can you, like, you know, like, how is it like three sides of the same face kind of deal, or are they all like distinct personalities?
I would say we've kind of developed all of our distinct personalities. I know there are some adaptations that do go with that choice, but I'd say so. Like Sherry, for example, our main witch, you know, she had a lot in mind as kind of a traditional old hag, cackly witch. That was just what she was looking forward to from the get-go.
What I like about the witches, especially their individuality, is one scene, Macbeth is predicting the future even further, and he's looking into the cauldron, seeing these images, and the witches are standing behind him one at a time, and their emotions, and he can't see it, their emotions are directing how he's swaying and weaving, and his eyes go blind, and all this sort of stuff. Each witch does it differently, and he, without seeing it, reacts differently. But yet they're all manipulating him. Same result, three different methods.
They're all in. Let's see here. So I've got some questions for our supporting cast members. So we've got, you know, stuff for Macduff and Duncan and Malcolm, and we don't think we have Fleance here tonight, do we? No Fleance.
He's fled.
He's
fled. He heard I was going to be here, and a couple murderers were going to go around, and he's like, oh no, can't have a lot. Okay.
That's okay. Yeah, Fleance is like probably maybe one of the tinier like roles, but the longest persisting after the play is all done. And if you'd like to find out more, please come to our show.
We appreciate it.
We definitely do appreciate it. What moment for our supporting cast members defined their theme in the story the best? What scene in the play kind of like really pins in on like who that character is?
I mean, for
King Duncan, what defines your character?
Go ahead.
I think King Duncan, I thought he was a take-charge kind of older guy who knows his time is waning, so he gives up his kingdom to his eldest son. But then I was talking to one audience member the other night, and they said, your character is nice, but I like that being the king, he's still a bit naive. And that made me think, he just had one thing start the whole show out with a revolt, which was squelched. But then that thing is now, that title is given to Macbeth. He's now that thing. And he's the one that kills Duncan. So naive. Fits very well.
I mean, for me, I think it's got to be that we talked about scene 17 where Macbeth finds out his family was killed. I mean, that's definitely the defining moment for that character. It's his big turning point. He only has a couple of brief scenes early on where just more or less advances the plot. But that's the scene where you really figure out his motivations and how he's going to kind of come in, try to be a hero. But, yeah.
And as far as Malcolm goes, I think the most important scene is the last scene, where my favorite part of it is he does not say we sort of made a lot of jokes about other kinds of proclamations he could make, but he doesn't really promise to do very much, but rather says, by the grace of grace, we will do these things. You know, God willing, and all these other things allowing it, we will pursue these things. And I think it's a really beautiful open-ended vision.
Would you say that anyone, if there's anything about your character that makes you brave or cautious in the face of chaos, what would it be?
I think that
Keeps them to the sticking point, whether they have to fight or flee for another day.
I thought it was the sticking place.
Yes, you're correct.
That's true.
Macbeth vengeance is powerful motivator.
I have a question, I think that goes along with that. The gentlewoman, when you come in to tell Macbeth that you see the forest coming, every night I've enjoyed seeing you. He like sort of advances towards you, and you like you really hold your head up high. And how did you kind of decide how she was going to react to him?
I think she's been like taking all of this. She watched Lady Macbeth like dishevel. She's watched like Macbeth dishevel, and she's like sitting here listening to this disheveled man tell her that she's lying. And he's crazier than she is. And so she's looking at him and she's like, yeah, no, you're not going to tell me that because I just saw her.
You're going to be king for like 30 more minutes.
And that was the scene I was talking about earlier. Because she actually kind of stands up to me at that point, it makes the line, I care not if thou dost for me as much. I almost, once again, am like, okay, fine, I'm relinquishing this to you, that if this happens, you might as well do the same to me, because you can hang me on the tree till then and clean me.
So many juicy lines in this play, I love it. The Macbeths, since we just have one power couple here with us tonight, can you describe the dynamic of their marriage and how does that change over the course of all these sort of events?
You know, when I think of the letter initially to Lady Macbeth that she's reading, you know, I'm the factual recount of what I experienced and stuff that I never, first lines I read it, take the impression that he was trying to spur her to anything, but really it's her spurring him onward. And then by the time we get to the end of the show, I'm sure audience members probably question me sometimes as I'm running up and down the aisle if I am even under my own control at that point. But she's almost set into motion something that cannot be stopped there. And we did a lot to try and make sure that at the beginning of the show, it wasn't that they were just a power couple that were power hungry, but that they do have an affection for each other. And it's from that affection that Lady Macbeth wants him to be king because she makes him a good king. Like, I mean, underneath that, at the end of the day, she does believe that. Even if she is surprised that a murder would happen in her house.
Shocked, I say.
Yeah. So it starts in love, and he is really spurred from, you know, to continue on because of her. He then kind of has his own resolve because he feels like he's now trapped, and then it spirals from that point.
Do you really think, does anybody think, I'm going to even pose this to the entire cast here, is Lady Macbeth an evil, conniving villain, or she just misunderstood?
Evil.
Yeah.
She's misunderstood.
I think
Heaven knows what she's known.
I would say that she's definitely at the beginning of the play, like, oh, my husband, you'll be a good king. Well, just go be king. Do it. And by the end of the play, she's crazy and evil. But at the beginning, she has good intentions, but good intentions pay the path to hell.
I'd argue the other way, honestly, purely because of one of her early lines when she says, basically, I would have slaughtered my own child had I made a promise and not kept it.
I got a connection that I think it could make. So, in the game Red Dead Redemption 2, Dutch Vanderlyn, right, he goes and he's like, alright, yeah, I'm gonna save this girl. And then, at the end of the game, he's just like, completely out of it. He lost his mind. He's crazy. And I can figure out, I can come to the conclusion that's kind of how Lady Macbeth did too. Like, she was like, yeah, I mean, I think Macbeth is going to be amazing, right? He's the best. And by the end of it, she's just like, yeah, kill him. You have to.
Kill Worm Baby.
And how about this? No matter what we think, and we're opposing each other here in a friendly manner, the growth and character development of Macbeth and Queen Macbeth, why don't we ask the audience members when they see the play what they think? As in, come see the play.
I think my biggest take on Lady Macbeth she saw the idea that her husband could be king. She did not understand the idea and the idea of the fact that if a man stabs one man in the back, another man can also stab that guy in the back. And she didn't understand that. She only saw the pathway of my husband can become king, and all he needs is a little nudge in the right direction. And by doing that, she didn't understand the idea of, you stab someone in the back, you don't get stabbed in the back yourself. Like the idea of, what is that called? I don't know.
Blood will get blood.
Yeah, blood will get blood.
Karma.
Karma.
Yeah, karma. And like even then, like she told, like Kevin, you told Lady Macbeth in one part, we will go no more further in this business. He has honored me as of late, and I should, respect that. This, like, your goodwill and everything basically told you, what I'm going to do is wrong. I can't do this, and I'm not going to do this. But she didn't see that idea. She only saw the power-hungry idea of, my husband can be king, and all he needs is to push in the right direction.
I do have a question for Macbeth, actually, or Kevin. Sorry,
Where's my answer at?
Kevin. Alright, so you were gonna say something before you backed off. I would like to know what that was.
Oh, I don't know what was
I was like saying how she was very crazy and just kill them if they have to.
Well, I don't know if this is what I was thinking at the time, but it's what I'm thinking now. And that is, something about Lady Macbeth is that she has so much resolve and determination at the end. And she is exuding this confidence that we can do this, it'll be fine, full steam ahead. And Macbeth's kind of, wobbling all over the place. As soon as he's done the deed, he's nervous about it, and she's mocking him for that. But at the end of the day, it's her that's, complete suicide and is ultimately needs a doctor to see if we can do anything more. And Macbeth has to carry on. So, there's something to be said about what she is able to emote versus maybe how she internalizes it is very much more split in her character, or maybe Macbeth's is a little bit more on his sleeves at the moment.
Yeah, that's
what's it that Lady Macbeth, particularly, but you could also say something about Macbeth, is this is something that happens. One of the reasons why Shakespeare's time was what causes a person to choose to do something that they know is evil for their own gain, and then what happens next? That is really the central question, because there is no doubt that both Macbeth and Lady Macbeth know that they should not kill the king, but that is the wrong thing to do, but they choose to do it. And that is hopefully, for those who read it or watch it and come see it, well, that is the question that should stay with you. When someone chooses to do something that they know is evil for their own benefit, what next?
Good answers. Well, when the audience comes sees the play, they'll obviously encounter the story of Macbeth and King Duncan and Macduff and all these, converging plots and everything, for power and self-gain. So a lot of that is front and center on stage. But is there anything that you want to let the audience know, viewers of this live stream, or those who come to sit in the seats? What are you most proud of that they may not readily see right in the front? Like whether it be something backstage, props, costume design, lighting. Like, is there anything that you're particularly proud of on this stage that you want people to know about?
I don't know that any show in the 6 years I've lived here and been involved with peer players has had as dedicated a costume team as this show is. I mean, we have 26 people in costume, 70 people in multiple costumes. We've had 3 costumers for this one of which has been here every single night. She's brand new to peer players community here as well. So, and
having her first job.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, she's definitely going to the deep end with this one.
Actually, I think the greatest thing that we overcame and actually did and everything this entire play, which is obvious because it's shown 100% throughout the entire play, is literally the energy and the ability to pronounce, I don't want to say pronunciate, but display what we're saying. That is, it is so easy to just read words on a piece of
You were there.
But they were like, yeah, this is what it means. Now, say it, you know? Like, they're like, yeah, let's go kill this guy. You know, that's basically what one of my lines says, but it doesn't say that, obviously, because it's Shakespearean. But, yeah.
Would you say that it's just as important to be emotive in your body language as another form of communicating to the audience what's going on?
Definitely.
That's one of my favorite things that, unfortunately, I don't get to do much in this show, but one of my favorite things I ever do and play is I get to scream at people. I get to stand on stage and yell and get mad, and my big eyes mad at people, and it's one of my favorite things I ever get to see anyone else do or myself get to do in a play. That's why I love the crazy face loon scene so much, is I just am backstage running around trying to find a missing prop or something, or sitting there waiting for the scene to change, and I just hear screaming and literally almost hear the shaking of him, and I'm like, this just makes me happy right now.
What I like about the peer players is if you have a very, very small part or a major part, but you have tremendous experience, or this is your first show, and you get to be either in a comedy, a drama, a musical, whatever you put Macbeth in there, is that? Whatever you do,
Not musical yet.
but whatever you do, you have fun. The crew is great. You can listen to people scream. You can listen to somebody almost cry. You can hear somebody who loses his wife and kids, and you can listen to the porter, a comedian. But everything is fun. If it wasn't fun, I don't think any of us would be here.
Another thing to add is a couple of nights ago on the show I messed up a line, and I think everybody has messed up a line once in their life at least. But this cast specifically, because I've had other shows that they're just like, they just stop, you know what I mean? But I messed up a line, and Liam just jumped right in, and I was just like, thank you, you know? You know what I mean? Because like you kind of like saved that whole scene, because you could have just been standing there waiting for me to remember my line. But I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for everyone just being accepting of everybody. Like, we all are different. We all have different experiences. We all have different views on things, but we can all just laugh and have fun.
And there's a group of people we have to recognize, which is our directors, who put in the most hours both here and thinking about it while they're in the shower or making dinner or driving to work. They're thinking about this. They're dealing with us. This is marshaling a small army here between the cast and the crew and all the tech bumps that we've been through. And
and while we're all wonderful human beings, we all have lovely personalities that also have to, be managed at times too. And I know I'm not easy to. I'm told that I ask aggressive questions.
The directors have done incredible work here, and this performance that we have is a testament to their work as it is to anyone else's.
Without the directors and assistant directors, none of this would be possible. So it is a very big role to step into of anybody who, gets involved in community theater. It's probably like the top echelon of what you can do. And as a previous assistant director for 2 prior shows, one of them a dinner theater show, I can absolutely attest to your brain is just on 24/7, even while you're sleeping. You're thinking of logistics, you're thinking of planning. It's a lot of fun, it's very stressful, but at the end of the day, it is a worthwhile endeavor. So if anyone would like to jump into possibly directing or assistant directing, have got an idea for a show, we've got a season select committee that goes through every single year. And we do have as well our new season membership drive review coming up October 23rd. encourage everybody out there in TV land and in our audience here tonight to please come by for those. They are a ton of fun. I don't know how we're going to top last year's between you and Justin with your song and dance routine on stage. Oh my goodness, could we do another one of those? That was fantastic. That was so much fun to watch.
Justin, but
I have something to add though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Being a new, well not new actor, I've been doing it for a while, but a young actor, it feels like every show I've been in, at least in Pure Players, has been a different director. And being able to have, Michael as a director is very, very awesome because he's a great guy, fun to work with. I mean, I'm probably upset him a couple times for missing practice or showing up late. But yeah, it's just, he's also very forgiving. Anyways, what I was saying with that was being able to have different directors and different points of views and just can teach you a lot of things. And that's kind of why I love it here. But, that's all I gotta say about that.
Well said, well put. Does anybody else have anything else to add to that question? No? Okay, I've got a couple little fun ones here. Your characters, what type of music would be on their playlist if they were listening to today's tracks?
Gangster rap.
for sure. I was gonna say Metallica, but okay.
Oh yeah, that works too. Meatloaf. I just got into that.
It's not about murder.
No, but like from my backstory that I heard.
Oh, okay.
That sounds delicious.
Macbeth listens to classical music.
Yeah, probably.
I can see it.
There's some good lo-fi music used in between scenes, so I kind of default to that right now. Like it just has the right tone.
I feel like the fans have to know all the words to the case I'm still going on.
I think for mine, maybe stuff like Tool or Nine Inch Nails.
I would recommend that these sisters, because just the group is appropriate. I think it's Sisters Shakespeare, Shakespeare Sisters, something like that. There's a group from the 80s, and it's very ethereal, kind of like witchy rock, sort of not really operatic, but like almost performative type of stuff. Like it could almost end up in like the Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack. Like that was a really good one.
But on the subject of music, what's unique about this show is one of the assistant directors, Ashley Boone, she went through all the show and picked out music to kind of set the tone between each scene. So there's 25 scenes, and that music does really help kind of keep us as actors in the mood of it, keeps the audience engaged, so that every time because some of those scenes might only be a page long, and when you go to a blackout and come back, sometimes it just kind of lowers the energy if you don't have that, and I think that music really helps propel that. So I encourage anyone that watches the show to pay attention to that music and how it adds to the show.
And I just might say that I know that people have noticed that. I had a couple people yesterday. I was with a group of people sort of at an after party the other night, and one person was convinced that we must have bought all of that music as a package deal. And when I told her that we actually had somebody here that put it all together, she just was incredulous. She just thought we must have paid a lot of money for that music, because it was almost a character in the play.
And the hard thing is you also can't choose music that everyone recognizes all the time, because you would fall into the opposite thing, that not only are they falling out of the show, they're now falling into their favorite wedding song that they've heard, or whatever event that they are familiar with that song from. So it has to have a nice balance between the two.
That's awesome.
Shout out to the musical group, whoever they are, Purple Cat. That's what a lot of our music is.
Ooh, so yeah, if anyone wants some new tunes on their Spotify list or their SoundCloud, go check out Purple Cat. We're gonna have to do that tonight. If your character was suddenly thrust into the year 2025, what would they be doing? What would their job be? Would they be off gallivanting around
I don't really know why though.
I think also people would feel comfortable telling you things.
Yeah, and I feel like I just think she would be a very good bartender. I don't know.
Love that.
Well, obviously people trust her. I mean, I asked her to bring the murderers in. I don't know anything about it. Like, you know those two? Yeah, bring them in.
She does get your dinner drink ready too, or your night drink.
I think we know what the porter would be doing.
Hanging out bartender bars.
He would be the porter in front of the bars, letting people in.
The bouncer.
Or not.
Yeah.
Knows.
The day drunk crackhead, or maybe a security guard for like a very large building.
He could be all three.
Kind of. I did probably in some way, but then some form of.
I don't know. I feel like he's got a more philosophical element to him. I mean, he could be like the never-ending grad school student.
That works as like a ballet.
Yes.
Equal amounts of alcohol available.
Yes.
Like your water basket.
And to quickly answer on the theme song thing, I'd probably be listening to like tavern songs and stuff while I'd be sitting on my chair.
I was going to say that Betty Hill theme would work well.
Check out a bunch of those new sea shanty songs from TikTok, sort of 2023.
And yet, to show the age difference here, I'm thinking King Duncan would probably be Roger Whittaker's songs, powerful and forward, but fairly sad.
My favorite Christmas album is Roger Whittaker.
Yeah.
I have a whole new understanding of King Duncan now.
I think Malcolm would be a banker. Like the connections, sort of like Malcolm basically convinces the King of England to give him an army to go attack Scotland. Banking is mostly about relationships. Yeah, I think Malcolm would be successful with high net worth clients, you know.
Listening to 80s New Age and Muzak.
What about Donalbain?
I think we've decided that Donald Bain is kind of an angsty teen, so I think he'd be the guy that we, at the drive-through window handing you your onion rings.
Listen to Slipping Out the Dead Kennedys or something angsty and punkish.
Yeah.
But he also has such a tender response to his brother when the last time he's on stage.
In fact, that's one of
Maybe
my...
he's listening to something angsty, in fact, he's just listening to sad music.
That moment between the two brothers is one of my favorite moments.
Mine as well.
My profession's still going well, so he'd probably do something along those lines. Well, pay your own day.
I would say I'd be like a bounty hunter kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, that's the two different things.
Like you just feel. I do it for like.
That guy wronged you.
Yeah.
Macbeth told us that guy was a bad guy.
Yeah. And another thing I wrote is like Banquo. Right, that's who we go.
Yes.
All right.
You're also supposed to kill Fleon, so could you get that?
That guy was fast. You said the third ring.
Be a good murderer at some point. You just gotta point at the guy and do it. Like you don't need to know the guy's name. I don't want to know the guy's name.
Yeah.
He sent some rando to do the job with us, so.
But I feel like I wrote that like Banquo like killed my wife or something like that. Some to wrong me. So because you said in terms like
I might have been lying to you. We don't know.
Banquo is your enemy.
Yeah.
Banquo's my
enemy, so like.
Yeah.
Like,
Instead of hand of mouth situation, baby goes forever.
It's just like, true, my lord. Yes, that happened. I forgot. I remember that now.
He's a little like your wife dying.
Yeah.
It might have been me and just blind hanging it on you, but either way.
But yeah, like something like that. Like Banquo wronged me, so I would, get back at him. So I feel like I'd be like a bounty hunter.
There are 3 more performances, October 9th, 10th, and 11th. The doors will open up at 7 o'clock. The show starts at 7:30 p.m. And you can find more information by calling the box office at 605-224-7826. That's 224-7826. Or by going to the Pure Players website and finding out more. Give it up. Oh, before we sign, is there any questions from our audience members that are here that want to have a question? Yes.
You want to take the
Sure, yeah, that might make it easier to get on.
She never asks. So today I was at a community event, and I had some just really amazing comments made from people that saw the show last weekend. And now you have more shows coming up this weekend. And this is for Kevin. Kevin, I just watched a dog just about growl. There was a dog at this performance that Kevin went to, and the dog growled at me, never broke character. It was so impressive. So here's my question to you. As the play is named after you, and you are the character, the lead character, how are you going to bring the show even higher this weekend? Because we always know the first weekends are always like, we got to work on a few things. And I guess it was great. How are you going to make it even better this week for everybody else? And how do you encourage people to come out and see your show? I'm excited.
Oh, that's a good question. In some ways, it's hard to think about that because honestly, for me, the show feels about 20 to 30 minutes long. There's so little time in between to think about that. And so when I'm going through, I want the show to be clicking along at a pace that everyone else has, but I want to find those moments that we can be just a little bit more sincere so that the audience understands that. So in particular, I think for some reason, madness is easy to cling on to at the end of the show as I'm losing it. And it's entertaining to watch someone, run around and be a little bit crazy. But I really want the first half of the show to continue to grow and develop into that. As you work through something, as with anything, you kind of start at the beginning, work your way through, and you really get so much. It seems like whatever's at the beginning worked on the most. And so we did that, and we had the first act really good, and then the second act kind of came on later. And then we really built up the second act, because that's, we hadn't spent as much time on that. And now it's time to kind of go back to that first act and say, how can we lay this foundation more so that people that are attending really understand that story? That when they look at that synopsis that's in a program, they go, oh, that did not even nearly cover the depth of this show. I got so much more out of it. That's what I want people to look at. They look at that synopsis, but it's not enough.
So you're encouraging people to come back?
Oh, yes, absolutely. My uncle didn't plan to see it a second time. He flew up from Santa Fe, and he saw it the second time. He's like, oh, I noticed this, and I noticed this, and I like this. And each time you're going to see, everyone's performance varies a little bit from day to day. Whether that be because we had a great day, or a bad day, or more sleep, or just out of sorts on something. So you might come back to see someone else perform slightly differently.
Yes, hold on, no, we're gonna let a director speak, and then I was gonna put it over here, somebody else has seen it multiple times.
I just want to say that every single night since Wednesday night when we watched this, the 3 of us afterwards have said, oh, that's the best they've done yet. And then the next night we'd say, man, that was even better than last night. So I'm not worried about that. I think every night we've gotten better and better and better. And so I'm so excited about Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because I know you guys are going to just do better and better. And it's just been awesome. It's been such a great show. So I'm not worried about that. I think it's going to be better every night, because every night we've said the same thing. It's wow, we've just been so impressed. So
What I was gonna ask you, Ruth, was if you could even just share a little bit of what it's like to have seen the show a few different times, or to have seen it earlier on and then just the other night, how you've noticed different things.
Sure. So the Shakespearean language is certainly something to get used to. So the first night, it was fun to just kind of get high level, like, okay, I get the idea of what's going on. I can pick it up from the action and how you guys interact with each other. And then I read some more synopses in between going to shows. And the more I watch it, then the more and more that I pick up from the language, that it's more the language that I'm getting the story.
understand an English major, everyone.
To that point, one of the actors, Bill McDonald, who's not here tonight, shame on Bill. Yes, it does. He said the other night that when we started the show, then I said multi-genius was a throwaway word for him. He didn't care about it, he didn't notice it, he didn't. And then he said the other night, I came off stage, he's like, it went from I do not care about that word to now I'm thinking about how that word is related to other words that we use and the origins of that word. So, that's how that delivery has changed over time, that it's sunk in for him. So hopefully others get that same.
We're going to get a few questions over here.
All right, we got one more question from the back over there.
Yeah.
Are there any small details or jokes that the director incorporated into the play that you don't think the audience really noticed or really appreciated enough, but you thought was really cool?
Ooh, good one.
There's a couple of lines that are fairly similar to each other, and there's one where I describe an old C word and his 10,000 warlike men. Then later I describe him just as good C word and 10,000 men. We had a lot of fun with whether he's older, he's good, and whether the men are warlike, and why am I describing them over here? Maybe it was just Bill and I thought that was pretty good.
There are certain prophecies that Macbeth is given that he never repeats the way the witches phrased them. Did he not hear them correctly, or did he not understand?
Or did maybe his own ambition start twisting and he put his own interpretation onto what the witches had said?
I personally feel better. What do you think?
Well, I was just going to say, and I really like one of Eric's lines about me being a dwarfish fiend with a giant robe on. As a short person, I felt like I really, underneath it all, could emote that.
Well, there's only going to stand next to you and deliver the line.
No, I mean that.
Are you saying this play has a short king in it?
Yes.
Slipper's platform shoes.
Yeah.
We've got a comment. Yeah.
I kind of had an answer of sorts to this. One day I showed up and I didn't have something going on, and I kind of showed up and I didn't know that I wasn't going to be doing anything, and I just kind of had an article, so I was kind of thinking of this character. I was doing a lot of, I guess, some might say unnecessary research on Donald Bain. And I remember I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, well, he's this younger guy, and he's surrounded by all this nobility and all these really proud soldiers who are fighting for this, what they believe in. And so when I was thinking, I was like, well, there has to be some kind of physical characteristic and I can display to help kind of have all these inner thoughts of me trying to, make myself equal with these people. So I decided that to make myself bigger, I was going to stand with my hands planted in front of me. And I was going to make my chest bigger. And I remember the first time, we ran through this, no scripts, I stood up and I did that, and Michael said, okay, I want everybody to know there's no hands in front of them. Just nobody. It's the worst thing you can do for your character. And I was like, well. It's become kind of a joke that, a couple of rehearsals I'm used to kind of cheating out, and they'd always be like, well, it's not like, you don't have love lines, you can just kind of turn your body all the way around. And just move back a little bit, so I'm trying to own whatever part of the scene I can.
I have often thought that the two worst hand positions for anything on stage is hands in front with the fig leaves, or T-Rex arms. So yeah, it's a valid critique.
So could I just make one comment? I'm always amazed at what happens in rehearsal, but I'm just particularly proud of this show because when I look at a cast and from where we started and to where we have come, I mean, there literally are people in this cast that I think could make a living from this craft. And to a person, every single person has grown over the course of 6 weeks. And you're infinitely better than you were when we started. And I just kudos to all of you. I mean, I'm in awe of all of you, frankly. Mm-hmm. So thank you for all of your hard work.
Y'all deserve a round of applause. before we sign off, anything else that anybody wants to add?
Come to the show.
Yes.
3 more chances.
Yep, 3 more chances. So that
Never
is.
go more than once.
Yep. And please, and you've seen it before. Please come back again because lights are.
And bring a friend.
Yeah, and bring friends, please.
Families, associates, and strangers.
Every night we've had more and more and more people come. So let's keep that going. You know?
See, we get a full house by closing night. So that is, we've had 3 more showings, October 9th, 10th, and 11th. Doors open up at 7, show starts at 7:30. And if you want to secure your tickets, you can go to pureplayers.com or you can call in at the box office. Again, that number is 605-224-7826. Thank you so much for everybody who joined our live stream. Big round of applause for our